everybody, and welcome to the First Nations Fiber Podcast, Episode 6, Return of the Fiber. I'm your host, Jeremy White, alongside Cameron Lahash. Our guest this afternoon is making quite the name for herself on the music scene here in Kahnawake. You can catch her incredible live streams Thursdays at 8 on Twitch. Welcome to the show, DJ Pøptrt.
Yay, thank you so much for having me. I'm a huge fan of the podcast, so
Thanks for coming out.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yo, we got groupies.
I know, right?
And of course, we're going to get to how First Nations Fibers impacted your small business and also your streams. And I mean, it's just made your life so much easier. We're going to talk all about that. Coming up on the show, we're going to be discussing some incredible and exciting things. First Nations Fibers here, and it's ready to be installed. And honestly, it's just incredibly exciting to be a part of this at this moment in time in Kahnawake, because finally, it's happening. It's happening. Cameron, talk a little bit about the network updates, and of course, installations will begin very, very soon. What's going on right now?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest news that we're going to talk about today is the fact that construction's actually started.
Yes!
I don't know if people have been paying attention or have seen our guys out and about throughout the community
I've seen them
the past 2 weeks.
I see them. I text you every time. I'm like, I see that little van getting closer to my house.
Yeah, but no, we've started deploying fiber cable. Within the past 2 weeks, we've been out and about throughout the community. We're on the 138. We're in the village around the church area and also on River Road just past Onage.
Yes.
So, yeah, honestly, for me, it's a big relief.
Right.
I mean, we've been working towards this for what? For how many months now?
It's been
six, 7 months almost since we made the announcement.
And yeah, I mean, it must be sort of gratifying in a way to finally see the product actually being installed, and it's like there, like it's actually being realized now.
Yeah, and so people in town are excited about it. I'm excited too. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible to see how much it's going to change people's lives once it's able to be available. But yeah, like you'll see. I mean, right now we have one truck that's going around throughout the community, and you'll see it's marked with the company name ElectroSag. So that's who we've contracted out to do all the work for us and construction wise. So they're great. They're fantastic. They're a fantastic company, a fantastic team. But our guys are always going to be with them. And so, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, obviously, we're still in the process of applying for permits, and we've received several more permits since last month. Last month, I believe we had 3.
And they're getting approved pretty efficiently.
We've had 3 last month, and this month we have over 10 that's been approved.
Wow.
48 more are currently in process. So we're really picking up the pace. You're going to see a lot of more construction being done throughout the community. So awesome stuff. Awesome, exciting things.
Yeah, and as we talked about in the past, I mean, you could have easily just gone pole to pole, put up the fiber, just done it, gone ahead, whatever. But you're actually doing it properly. You're getting all the right paperwork done and in order this way. There's no questions asked, and you know that it's being done correctly and properly. And that's really what the delay has been.
And we had no incidents at all.
No.
During our entire construction process up to date, we've had no incidents. We've had nobody come up to us and try and instigate anything. And I think the reason that we haven't had any issues is because we are doing things right and we do have permits. Right. And if anybody does want to come and try and say something, well, we have paperwork to back it up. Say, guys, we've done the work. We're legally we're allowed to be here. Legally, we have space on these strands and on these poles for us to do what we're doing. So we appreciate your concern, but trust us, we've taken all the steps to make sure that this is being done right.
Talking about that, and we're going to get to DJ Pøptrt in a second, is some of the incredible alternate sort of, I mean, we've got internet, but we got other things coming up as well. Just real quick, talk a little bit about some of the rumors and speculation that's been going on around online and sort of being propagated by other competing companies in the community. There's been word out there saying like, oh, well, First Nations Fiber is just reselling a big box brand internet company, and, they don't even own their network, and, they're just like everybody else, which is the furthest from the truth. Talk a little bit about that, and what can you say to the community about what First Nations Fiber is actually going to be offering?
Yeah, I mean, so you have to understand a little bit about how IP transit, how internet is actually transmitted throughout the world. Yeah. So if you're looking at it from an internet service provider standpoint, there are, in theory, 3 tiers of internet service providers. Mm-hmm. So there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So a tier 1 internet service provider is a provider that owns infrastructure that goes worldwide, so even intercontinental. So there are multiple Level 3 communications, CommScope sometimes is a company that's brought to mind when you're thinking of a tier 1. Most people don't really know them by name,
right?
Because the only real people who are dealing with these companies are telecommunications providers.
Right. So you got your Bell, your Videotron,
So you got the tier 1s, and then you got the tier 2s, which usually own nationwide networks. So Bell's an example of somebody like that.
Right.
And then you have tier 3s who are reselling those tier 2s. Now, the way that we've built our network is basically so that we don't have to go through a tier 2 provider. We're going to be going directly to a tier 1.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not going to be talking about who it is that we're dealing with or anything
irrelevant.
along those lines, but I mean, we're basically putting infrastructure in place that's going to allow us to run fiber lines directly to data centers, which are located in the center of Montreal, downtown.
Right.
And that gives us access to all those tier 1 providers, which is going to help us immensely when it comes to the prices that we're going to be able to offer people, what speeds we're going to be able to offer people, and even talking a little bit about, expandability in the future. Say the community's needs triple, for example. We don't really have to wait around much because we already have our infrastructure in place to increase what capacity.
You're not going to be beholden to, a big, a secondary provider like a Bell. You're not just sort of reselling Videotron to community members. You're actually going to be owning the network, and for lack of better terms. Yep.
I mean, you'll see that when you perform speed tests on your app, on your phone, for example, you'll be able to see, well, who is it that's providing me with, my IP address, for example. They'll appear a company name underneath that speed test. When you perform a speed test using First Nations Fiber, you'll see it's going to say First Nations Fiber.
Right.
Because we own the network, we own all the infrastructure, and we also own all the IP protocols that are being put in place to deliver you your internet service.
Right. Which is incredibly exciting because, like I said, there's no middleman. It really is. With First Nations Fiber, you're getting First Nations Fiber.
Yep. And it opens the door for us as well. Having that relationship with that tier 1 internet provider, it opens the door to us to go and help other underserved First Nations communities as well. I mean, obviously, we're focusing on getting Ganawage serviced first.
Right.
But I mean, we're also thinking about
because we're number one.
He was number one.
Yeah.
We were number one. We are number one.
Yep.
But we're thinking more after we've finished what it is that we need to accomplish here. We want to continue to grow. We want to continue to expand. I mean, we want to continue to offer employment opportunities for people in the community as well. So we'd like to continue to grow our business, and we want to be able to help other First Nations communities first and foremost who are in similar situations such as we were before.
Right. And internet in 2022 is just so important, not necessarily just the speed of your connection, but really the stability of your connection. DJ Pøptrt's here with us, and ever since First Nations Fiber sort of became your internet provider, we've had private conversations just off the record talking about just how significantly your product has improved.
100%.
Talk a little bit about that and how First Nations Fiber has impacted your life.
Yeah, definitely. When 2020 hit and, the whole entertainment industry was shut down, I got the opportunity to do online virtual music festivals.
Yeah.
And I remember my first live stream, my dad gave me this portable Wi-Fi box because our Wi-Fi was
it using cellular or something like that?
Yeah.
Like a hotspot?
Yeah, it actually had more upload speed than my previous internet provider.
You had cable, right? Was it like a cable internet provider?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
So I went and I was so scared of my actual set, my music, and my visuals that when I actually streamed, my internet wouldn't allow me to put out a clear connection. So everything was
it looked like an 80s video game.
Yeah, it was really terrible.
Yeah.
And this was
pixelated.
Using the personal hotspots?
Yeah.
You still had these issues too? Wow.
Terrible.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of spots in the community, a lot of it is a dead zone still. Like when I was with Bell, one spot would be great, and then I'd go to my parents' house and it was dead. And I'm like, well, I was just at the house next door. What's the issue here? And then I'd be on River Road, literally right there, in the middle of town, and nothing. But then I switched over to Rogers, and it was a completely different thing. But even with the internet, I mean, like when I had my cable provider as my main internet source, it was awful. Like, especially at the beginning of the pandemic when like everybody was using internet, and that was always the excuse. Oh, well, you know, a lot of people are using internet right now. It's like, well, no, that doesn't. Yeah, it's not an excuse for having a crappy internet service. So, the tipping point for me was I was doing a live broadcast on Instagram Live, like in like the March of 2020 when COVID was kicking off, and like I had my phone next to me, just like watching it. And my buddies were sending me screenshots, and I'm like, it was just
pain. It's like,
yeah, it was just like, it was all pixels, and it was just awful. So, and especially if you're
like such an amazing setup, like I've seen
yeah,
your live stream before.
Well, look, I mean, like you're sending out HD video with the green screen and everything, but not only that, I mean, it's the quality of the music. If you have a low internet connection, I mean, like your bit rate's going to be reduced. Your music sounds like this, like it just doesn't work.
Terrible. And it's like that's something that you're like presenting something. You're presenting your art, your craft, whatever you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And to have that almost like taken away, or your connection is really crappy.
It kind of hurts
to say that.
Yeah, you're allowed to say
Oh
that.
my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was fine.
It's really bad.
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
good.
it's so discouraging. And I remember literally I was in tears at one point, running around my house, like holding up this little box, like looking for a connection.
Yeah.
And I just said, like, I had to make a change, you know, like this is something that I was so passionate about. I was able to combine both of my my passions for graphic design and visual art and music. And that's when I made the switch. I knew I had to do something to help this issue.
Were you referred by anybody, if you don't mind me asking, or did you just go out on your own?
I just knew the name.
You just knew the name?
Yeah, I just knew the name, and I was like, okay, this sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I had, I saw like your presence on social media, so I thought that it would be an amazing choice to.
She saw Jeremy bitching about his other internet provider on Facebook and was like, okay, I'm going to switch.
Yeah.
I'm going to taking credit. Not really, but.
I just saw like what you were doing on, and just the transparency of that. And I thought, you know, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, with other internet providers in the community, like the amount of times that I would go on Facebook and be moaning about my internet, just like, you know, for me, the tipping point, I was on Zoom with Gene Simmons from Kiss. And all of a sudden, like, we're supposed to be promoting a New Year's Eve concert in Dubai. And like, it's the spectacle of all spectacles, the most stupendous New Year's Eve party ever. And I'm on Zoom with Gene Simmons, and like, I can't get his video to come in HD, and he's like, "Oh, are you still there, young man? Hello."
I hate that when I'm
like,
talking to Gene Simmons.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, it was a prime example. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be doing more and more work from home, I don't necessarily care about the speed. It really was the stability of the connection. And when I switched to First Nations, it was night and day. So I can only imagine, you know, like even seeing your streams now, like I'll send you a text and be like, "Dude, looks great, sounds great," and it's kind of like we always say, the best product is the one that sells itself. And, you know, just from real world experiences, I can honestly say, like, it really is night and day.
So what was it like? I mean, you switched, and then you obviously, was there a bit of a feeling out period after you had switched to First Nations Wireless just to see, or was it your first stream and you did it and it was like Jeremy said, night and day almost? What was that experience like for you?
It really was night and day.
Or were you apprehensive, like, I don't really see a difference?
I mean, I mean, we've been treated terribly, almost abusively, I want to say, for
quite
how
some
many
time.
years?
A long time.
This entire community has been treated this way. So,
and then you're almost villainized for questioning or calling them out.
So I could imagine. I mean, you want to have confidence in somebody new, but I mean, again, I'm going to talk about an abusive relationship, but you're almost hesitant to try somebody else.
You almost feel guilty
because you don't know if it's going to be better or not. So no, that honestly, like, to hear that it was better for you. That's why I do what I do personally.
Yeah.
You know,
I was doing live streams for other people, like Drumbeat Entertainment, Red Bull Gaming. And when I decided to switch, just like the night and day, being able to do something like clear and having just an amazing connection, that's where I decided to do my own like weekly stream.
Yeah.
And that's really where I started and how it developed.
A word I'll use is credibility. When you're doing major streaming for major brands and platforms like that, you need to have a good internet connection that's going to give you the credibility to go up with these brands. And, when I switched, like I said, it was night and day. And I'm sure, the brands that you were working with were appreciative of your internet connection, saying, okay, wow, she doesn't look like Wreck-It Ralph right now. You look HD and you look good. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I even had people reach out saying, hey, I'm in the area and I'm considering doing live streams. Do you have a recommendation? I'm noticing your internet looks better.
Yeah.
I need a better internet provider. And I straight up said I switched to First Nations fiber and it's made such a difference.
Awesome. That's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
It really does.
You're gleaming.
Oh my gosh.
He's gleaming. Look at those sparkly, pearly whites right now. Well, you can catch DJ Pøptrt's live streams on Twitch Thursday nights at 8. And of course, you can follow her on all social medias. It's so great to have her here on First Nations Fiber's podcast. And
so you said, sorry, just to jump in a little bit, you said you started 2020 was when you started the Twitch streams. How has it grown from then to now? Your Twitch show.
Yeah, so I've made a following. I have a beautiful community of people. I'm actually making a monthly income just on Twitch. So
fantastic.
It's been amazing. I mean, I've gone from having 0 gigs whatsoever to now a stable monthly income, just building that all by myself.
You would have never had been able to do something like that even 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
Even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to get just get your YouTube channel monetized. I mean, you have to reach a certain amount of subscribers, and then then it's kind of creating consistent content that's also credible and also of quality. People just think it's oh yeah, I'm gonna go on YouTube or I'm gonna go on Twitch and I'm gonna stream and make a bunch of money. But we can both attest that it's not that. It's not that the case at all. Yeah. It's not easy.
It took me about 2 years, just the beginning of 2021. I started.
Yeah.
Making an income.
Wow.
It takes some time. I mean, even when I was starting my podcast and I was fortunate because I had contacts and was able to get really high caliber guests, and they definitely helped me, legitimize the whole brand. So within 7 months, really, really working, I was able to get my YouTube channel monetized and everything. I had past 1,000 subscribers. But now, about a year and a half into doing the podcast, just the YouTube channel, and I just passed 7,000 subscribers. So between my buddy's YouTube channel and mine, I mean, we've got 15,000 subscribers or something like that. And but it's creating the content. Content is king. You have to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
And I can imagine just the new generation of people who are going to be able to have access to this. And I've seen makeup artists make amazing content, and just, we're kind of in this weird transitional stage of influencer and how we're able to make a living online, and just the importance of having that clear connection.
Because that was a bit of a cliche at one point. It was influencer this or Instagram or blah, but it's no, it's a legitimate thing now, and you can actually get, recognizable people to promote your brand, and it does add value to it. So
the world's online now more than it's ever been.
Yeah, especially with First Nations fiber.
That's right. No, but and honestly, I mean, that's the vision, right? I mean, we see the internet becoming increasingly more important year after year after year, and we got to make sure that something's being built to sustain whatever it is that people want to do online. We want to be able to provide a product that's not going to give them any limitations whatsoever.
Right.
That's the vision. That was the idea. That was what we had in mind when we had started the idea with First Nations Wireless way back in 2015. That was what we had wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's good because, it's not just necessarily a money grab. It really is a passion project as well, because this is something that you're building for the community, by the community. I mean, these are community members that are working here, installing, doing everything on the poles. I mean, it's a community-owned company, really for community by community, and you can't really go wrong with that.
Exactly.
Talk a little bit about, because we're running out of time here, real quick, talk a little bit about the product that's going to be coming out. I mean, we've got television, we got phone options, we got all kinds of different things. Let's talk a little bit about that. So First Nations Fiber is not just going to be internet. We've got television and phone services.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit briefly in the past podcast as well, but I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about the details. Exactly what is it that we're going to be offering with these different services. So I mean, here's simplify things for everybody. One drop, one fiber line into your home, we can provide you with the 3 services.
What?
So we don't have to run multiple cables into your house for you to have access to internet, TV, and phone. One cable, and you get all 3 of those services. Wow. And bing, bong, boom, done. But talking a little bit about, phone services, we're going to be offering 2 plans, if you want to call it that, 2 services essentially with the phone plan. One of them is going to be Canada-wide unlimited calling. So no matter where they are in Canada, you can call whoever you want.
Right.
Not have to worry about long distance fees in Canada.
Who knew that it was still a thing, long distance fees, right?
I mean, even with cell phones now and everything like that, most cell phone plans offer you.
Yeah, well, you hear it all the time. You get unlimited Canada-wide calling.
Yeah. So there's going to be unlimited Canada-wide calling. That's the first plan. And then if you have family in the States or anywhere in North America, for example, you can have the Canadian, the North America unlimited calling as well.
That's great.
So that's for the phone. For
will
whoever
I be able
wants
to keep my phone number if I switch to you guys?
Yes, you will.
Wow.
If you have an existing phone number, I mean, everybody here has either 450, 632, 635, 638, things like that. You get to keep your exact number that you have now. Just we port it over for you, and you even keep all your existing telephone lines. You keep that in place. We just set up our modem plugs into your phone lines, and that's all it takes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really that easy.
It's not hard. The transition, if you wanted to switch, say, from your existing phone provider to us, maybe in 1 to 2 hours tops.
Wow.
So,
not how difficult at all, yeah?
Nope.
I don't have to be sitting there waiting for the delivery. Oh, we'll show up between 9 and 5.
And I mean, obviously, not everybody's going to want a home phone, but I mean, we want to be able to provide the option to whoever wants it.
It's always nice to have your landline in the event of an emergency. I mean, who knows? Cell phone service goes down. Boom. Well, at least I got my landline. Be able to call my Duda.
Yeah.
So not only that, we got television packages that are going to be rolling out too.
TV as well. And so we're planning on offering over 150 different channels, all in high definition.
HD, not fake HD?
Not fake HD, legitimate HD.
So I'll be able to watch
high
Sportsnet
definition.
100% HD, looking fantastic.
Yeah, so we were going to offer all the sports channels. So all the TSN channels are going to be on there. All the Sportsnet channels are going to be on there. We have golf. We have the Fight Network as well.
Am I going to get WWE Network?
WWE Network too.
Yes.
Yes.
My God, they got it.
Is it as popular as it used to be, though?
Oh, it's huge.
The wrestling thing?
Listen, the most stupendous WrestleMania is happening in 3 weeks. Dallas, Texas. Razor Ramon just passed away, man. Rest in peace. Scott Hall, man.
I know there's a big, huge emphasis on UFC now, so I was just wondering if that had kind of overtaken the whole wrestling thing. WrestleMania.
I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Go sports.
Go sports. Go sports. But not only that, I mean, you're going to have the, like Magnolia Network for all the carpenters out there, and, the Food Network. I'm going to be able to get my Rachel Ray.
HGTV. For the kids, there's going to be YTV, Nickelodeon, Disney.
I'll be able to watch My Price is Right and Kelly and Ryan.
Of course, yeah.
In full
Global
HD.
CBC, all your local programming. We're even going to actually have a few stations from Buffalo and Rochester as well. So for those who want to catch up on all their U.S. stuff.
Look, I'm a big local news junkie. So as long as I get CBS 2 New York, Marsha Kramer, I love you. Oh, man, I need my CBS 2. You might know local New York news. That's the stuff, man.
So all that's going to be available, like I said, with the one drop. And again, I want to emphasize that getting started with us is not going to cost anybody anything. So installation's free.
So installation with First Nations Fiber is free.
Yeah. So everything that you need to get started with us. So what comes with installation? Well, there's the line that runs from the pole to your home. There's a device called an optical network terminal. We've talked about that before. It's comparable to a modem.
Yep. And there's wireless Wi-Fi built into the box too.
Well, the modem and the router are 2 separate devices.
Oh, right.
So in theory, you're getting 2 devices with us
For free.
For free. Plus the professional installation, our time. You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for our time. We come there, we install you. We get you guys all set up and everything. We set up your Wi-Fi for you. Get your username, your password.
I don't have to give you lemonade. That's optional.
If you want to, you can. I mean, especially in the summertime, it's nice. Guys are out there sweating and it gets pretty hot.
Right.
So I mean, we're not asking for drinks, but if people want to offer us drinks,
Like, we won't turn it
lemonade,
down.
I will never say no to a nice cold glass of lemonade.
I mean, who would? Old fashioned.
Yeah, but we want, I said this before, we want to make sure that this is accessible to everybody. We've talked about today how important internet connection is. I mean, how it could impact you guys, talking about how much it
Yes.
impacts you professionally. It impacts people's education. I mean, we were talking before the podcast, how many people do classes online now?
Yeah.
Classes from home. Say you got a young family at home and you don't necessarily have time to go downtown and spend several hours a week in class. You can, literally have your family there, have your device on the table. You could even be eating dinner for whatever,
Yeah.
And you could be sitting there, you can be learning.
Yep.
So, and it's incredible the amount of opportunities that it's going to open up for people. So, I mean, but we want to make sure that at the end of the day, nobody is unable to get First Nations fiber because they can't afford it. We want everybody to have it because we know how important it is and how it can change this community for the better.
So we've got some incredible speeds and packages that are going to be coming out. The speeds compared to pricing, there's a lot of speculation. Oh, if I get the First Nations Fiber 50, it's going to be $50. If I get the gig, it's going to be $1,000 a month.
$1,000,
Which is
It's not-
completely ridiculous because I see these comments on Facebook. I'm like, it's just misinformation, disinformation. That's just ridiculous. We're not necessarily ready to reveal pricing yet, but like we've talked about in the past, it's going to be incredibly affordable for the type of product that you're going to be offering.
Look, I mean, if people are looking for an indicator as to if it's going to break the bank for them or not, installation is free.
Right. That alone is worth the price of admission.
Yes. I mean, you see other companies who are charging, over $100 plus.
Exorbitant rates just for installation.
Just to get people, just to get them set up. We're not charging that. And we're going to keep that philosophy with the prices that we offer for everything that we're offering. For the internet, for the phone, and
Yep.
the TV. It's going to be affordable. If you want all 3 services, it's going to be affordable. So we understand, with the pandemic, inflation's gone up. People are living under a very tight budget, maybe now more than ever. So we want to make sure that, like I said, this is an essential service now. It's not something that you can just get away without having anymore. So we want it to be something that people can afford to have. And even if you go, say, the basic, the 50/50, the FN Fiber 50 plan, that's more than enough for what you need today.
That FN50 is already faster than everything else you could possibly get in town. So right off the bat, you're already making up pretty good.
You're going to be getting the FN gig.
Yes.
So don't even.
That's what I'm waiting for. That FN gig, man. It's going to be unbeatable. Or the FN 250. Just like all of it. I mean, the prices compared to package, like the ratio is just, it's going to be unbeatable. And contrary to popular belief in Ganawage, it's not what you think it's going to be. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll officially be revealing pricing.
Yep. And with the pricing, we could also expect to start connecting the first few clients.
Yep.
Which are going to happen between now and June as well.
Right.
So I know a lot of people are asking for timelines, when are you going to start hooking people up, things like that.
Yeah, why wait for a promise when you could be connected now?
Listen, it's not just a promise.
I know.
This is a guarantee.
Yes.
Okay. So
it's going to be incredibly exciting. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled here. Keep them peeled, people. First Nations Fiber coming soon to Ganawage. Get signed up now so this way you're the first to be connected. And make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that vlog of when I first get connected. And boom, I get that 1 gig on my screen as this First Nations Fiber. It's going to be one hell of a day, I'll tell you that.
we'll have a party when that happens.
Honestly, we should have an FN party. Yeah, it's going to be epic, honestly. First Nations Fiber, fnfiber.com to get signed up and be the first to be connected by signing up now. Make sure you follow our socials. You can catch DJ Pøptrt's live streams on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8. Of course, you catch me on the Beat 92.5 and Energy 95.3, broadcasting from my studio using First Nations fiber. Anything else before we wrap up? I think we've said it all today.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll have more updates again next month. We're going to keep doing this every month until I think more or less until the project's completed. So we want to keep everybody informed and up to date with everything that's happening. You're going to see a lot of things, start to make some serious progress over the next few months, though. Right. So exciting times.
And as DJ Pøptrt said, transparency. If you want to know anything about what's going on here, give us a call. Tina will answer the phone. There's a literal person that answers the phone here. It's not a robotic voice that says, hello, please hang up now. Don't bother us. It's a literal person. Not only that, I mean, leave a comment on Facebook and on Instagram and on all the socials. And there's actually a human there that'll answer your questions. And total transparency. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode, which is going to be episode 7.
Yes. So that's going to be what? The Fiber Awakens?
The Fiber Awakens.
It's perfect timing, too.
I know.
It's perfect timing.
We couldn't write this any better. Our producers are so good. Our writers. we got the best writers. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you soon. Yawan Danu Ona.
Ona.
Thank you.